Imagine waking up every morning with the heavy sense that life is repeating itself, the same problems, the same feelings, the same challenges cycling through your reality like a loop you cannot escape. You try to move forward, but it feels as though an invisible force keeps pulling you back to the same place. Deep down, you know you were meant for more joy, more abundance, more freedom, but you feel stuck in a version of life that doesn't reflect who you truly are. This is where so many seekers find themselves. They have read the books, listened to the affirmations, tried to think positive thoughts, and yet their external reality still seems stubbornly the same. It can feel frustrating, confusing, even hopeless at times. But what if I told you that you are not stuck at all? What if I told you that there are infinite versions of your life, infinite timelines, already existing right now, and the version you are living is simply the one you have been unconsciously tuned to? The truth is, you are not broken. You are not failing. You are not behind. You are simply existing on a timeline that is the byproduct of your current frequency, beliefs, and energy state. And here is the empowering part. Just as easily as you unconsciously tuned yourself to this timeline, you can consciously tune yourself to a new one. This is where the concept of collapsing limiting timelines comes in. A timeline is simply a path of possibilities that unfolds based on your choices, your focus, and your energy. When we live on autopilot, we follow the path of least resistance, which usually means we continue replaying the same patterns we learned in childhood, the same limiting beliefs we picked up from society, and the same fears we've been holding on to for years. But when we become conscious, when we pause, when we choose a new intention, we can literally collapse that old path and step onto a new one. This is not just a poetic idea, it is a quantum truth. Think of it like this: your life is a movie, but there are countless alternate versions of the same film waiting to be played. The you who already has the life you dream of, the love, the health, the purpose, the freedom, that version of you is real. They are simply existing on a different timeline, waiting for you to tune your energy to meet them. And this is what today's ritual is all about. It is about giving you a simple, powerful way to shift your state every single day, so that little by little, moment by moment, you align yourself with the timeline where your dreams are already true. You might be wondering, why a ritual? Because the mind loves consistency. Your subconscious programming runs on habit, on repetition. That is why you keep experiencing the same cycles, because you are unconsciously repeating the same energetic habits every day. But when you introduce a conscious ritual, you interrupt that loop. You send a signal to your subconscious that something new is happening, and you begin reprogramming your inner world to match the outer world you desire. The beauty of this is that it does not require you to fight your old reality, force yourself into unnatural positivity, or wait for some big external breakthrough. The shift begins inside of you, calmly, gently, but powerfully. The moment you take ownership of your energy and align with your chosen reality, the universe begins rearranging to match you. Synchronicities appear, opportunities reveal themselves, old patterns dissolve, the timeline you thought you were stuck in starts to unravel, and a new one takes its place. In this video, I am going to guide you through this daily ritual, step by step. I am going to show you how to use it to collapse the timelines that no longer serve you, and step into the life you know you are meant to live. By the end, you will not only understand why you have been feeling stuck, but you will also have a practical tool to shift that energy every single day. You are not just here to be inspired. You are here to be transformed. So take a deep breath, let go of the tension in your body, and open your heart to the possibility that everything can change, because it can. And it starts with a single decision, the decision to align with the version of you who is already free. Stay with me, because what I am about to share has the power to completely rewrite your story. Before we move into the ritual itself, it is essential to understand what we are really working with. Many people hear the word timeline and think of science fiction, parallel universes, alternate realities, infinite versions of themselves. And while those concepts have some truth to them, the idea of timelines can be understood much more simply. A timeline is nothing more than a sequence of events unfolding based on your current state of consciousness. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every emotion you allow to dominate your day, all of these combine to create the energetic signal you are broadcasting. That signal determines what you notice, what you attract, and how life responds to you. This means that you are not trapped in some fixed destiny. You are not condemned to repeat the same story forever. But here's the catch: when you keep thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and making the same choices, you are essentially choosing the same timeline again and again. That is why life can feel like it is stuck on repeat. The stuckness you feel is not life punishing you. It is simply feedback, showing you that you are broadcasting the same frequency and therefore getting the same result. Think about the last time you had a limiting thought about yourself. Maybe it was "I will never find love," or "I am not good with money," or "people like me just don't succeed." Notice how that thought felt in your body. It probably created a contraction, a heaviness in your chest, a drop in your stomach. Those sensations are more than just feelings. They are signals, indicators that you are tuning into a timeline where that belief is true. And when you keep reinforcing that belief, you lock that timeline into place. The good news is that you have shifted timelines before. You just might not have called it that. Think back to a time in your life when something dramatically changed for the better. Maybe you met someone who completely altered your perspective, moved to a new city, and felt like a different person, or had an aha moment that opened up a brand new way of seeing yourself. In those moments, it felt like reality itself shifted around you, as if you stepped out of one version of life and into another. That is timeline shifting in action. But what about the illusion of stuckness? Why does it feel so real? The human brain is designed for survival, and part of that design is to seek out patterns and predictability. Your mind loves to repeat what is familiar, even if that familiar thing is painful. It equates familiarity with safety. This is why we so often stay in jobs we hate, relationships that drain us, or habits that keep us small. Our nervous system is wired to prefer the known over the unknown. This is why many people feel as though they cannot escape their current circumstances, not because escape is impossible, but because their subconscious mind keeps pulling them back toward what is known. This is the invisible gravity of the old timeline, and if you do not become conscious of it, you can spend years, even decades, looping through the same patterns, wondering why nothing ever changes. The spiritual truth, however, is that the feeling of stuckness is an invitation, a wake-up call. It is your higher self whispering, "It's time to choose differently." The frustration you feel, the boredom, the yearning for more, these are not things to be ignored or numbed. They are the signal flare of your soul, calling you toward a higher path. When you start to see your discomfort as guidance, rather than punishment, everything begins to change. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine two versions of you waking up tomorrow. The first version rolls out of bed, immediately grabs their phone, scrolls through social media, feels comparison creep in, and begins the day already, in a state of stress. They rush through the morning, speak negatively to themselves, and unconsciously recreate the same story they lived yesterday. The second version of you wakes up, takes a deep breath, places a hand on their heart, and sets a powerful intention for the day. They choose gratitude, even if things are not perfect yet. They decide to speak kindly to themselves. That single choice tunes them into a slightly different frequency, one that will attract different opportunities, insights, and interactions throughout the day. The difference between these two versions of you might seem small in the moment, but over time, those small shifts add up. One version stays on the old limited timeline, and the other begins to branch off into a reality where new possibilities are available. This is why understanding timelines is so important, because the moment you realize you have a choice, you take back your power. From a quantum perspective, all timelines exist simultaneously. The version of you who is thriving, deeply fulfilled, and living their dream life is not out there somewhere far away. They exist here and now in a parallel probability field. Your job is not to create that version from scratch, but to align with them. And that alignment happens through your state of being, what you think, how you feel, what you choose moment by moment. When you truly understand this, the heaviness of feeling stuck starts to lift. You begin to see that your current reality is not a prison. It is simply a reflection of your current settings, your current energetic broadcast. And settings can be changed. Frequencies can be tuned. Paths can be redirected. This is not about blaming yourself for where you are. It is about empowering yourself to know that where you are is not where you have to stay. This is why the daily ritual we are about to explore is so powerful. It is not about forcing yourself into a fake state of positivity or denying what you feel. It is about consciously meeting yourself where you are, shifting your frequency 1 degree at a time, and allowing that shift to guide you toward the timeline where everything you desire already exists. You are not broken. You are not stuck. You are simply ready to shift. Now that you understand what timelines are and why you sometimes feel stuck on the wrong one, it's time to talk about the heart of this entire teaching, the daily ritual that allows you to collapse those limiting timelines and step into a new, empowered reality. This ritual is designed to be simple enough that you can do it every single day, yet powerful enough to completely reprogram your energy and focus. Consistency is key here, because as you shift your frequency day after day, you start to naturally align with the version of you that already lives the life you desire. Let's break it down, step by step. The first step is grounding. Every timeline shift begins with presence. You cannot shift from a place of chaos, distraction, or unconscious reactivity. So as soon as you wake up, take a moment to center yourself. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and feel the weight of your body. Notice the contact of your feet with the ground or the bed beneath you. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. With each exhale, imagine releasing the weight of yesterday, every worry, every story, every heavy thought. This is like clearing the canvas before you begin to paint. The second step is emotional calibration. Remember, your emotions are your signal to the universe. They tell reality what you are available for. So after you ground yourself, choose one high-frequency emotion you want to embody today. Maybe it's peace, gratitude, joy, or empowerment. Place a hand on your heart and visualize what that emotion feels like in your body. If it's gratitude, think of something small you truly appreciate, the warmth of your bed, the fact that you woke up breathing, the opportunity to begin a new day. Allow yourself to actually feel it. This step is crucial because it shifts you out of the emotional signature of the old timeline and into the one where your desires already exist. Next comes intention setting. Your intention is like your GPS for the day. It tells the universe where you want to go. Most people wake up and unconsciously set the same intention they had yesterday, which is usually something like just survive the day. But you are going to consciously choose a new one. Speak it out loud if you can. For example, today I align with the version of me who feels abundant and supported, or today I embody confidence and take one step toward my dreams. The key is to phrase your intention as though it is already happening, not in the future, not someday, but today. The fourth step is embodiment, and this is where most people miss the mark. It's one thing to think about your new reality, it's another to feel it in your bones and live as though it is already true. Take a few minutes to visualize yourself as the version of you who already lives on the timeline you desire. See what they wear, how they speak, how they hold their body. Imagine them walking through their day with ease, handling challenges gracefully, attracting opportunities. Then, begin to subtly mirror their energy right now. Sit up straighter, breathe a little deeper, smile slightly. Embodiment is like casting a signal into the quantum field, saying, I am ready, I am already here. The fifth and final step is release and trust. This might be the most powerful step of all. Once you have set your energy, you must let go of the need to control how the new timeline shows up. This is where many people get stuck. They do the inner work, but then immediately start doubting, looking for signs, wondering if it's working. This sends mixed signals to the universe and slows the shift. Instead, practice radical trust. Imagine handing over your intention to a higher power, the universe, God, Source, whatever resonates with you, and know that it is already done. Take one last deep breath and open your eyes, ready to meet the day as your new self. When you practice this ritual daily, something remarkable begins to happen. You start to notice subtle shifts, small synchronicities, moments of unexpected clarity, encounters with people who inspire you, and sudden opportunities appearing out of nowhere. These are signs that the old timeline is dissolving and the new one is taking shape. The more consistently you practice, the faster these shifts occur, because you are reprogramming your subconscious mind to expect them. It's important to note that collapsing a timeline is not always a smooth process. Sometimes, as you shift, old patterns will rise to the surface so they can be released. You might feel emotional for no apparent reason, or situations might temporarily get more intense. This is not a sign you are doing it wrong. It is a sign the old timeline is crumbling. Stay with the ritual. Each time you show up for yourself, you strengthen the new reality and weaken the old one. The beauty of this ritual is its flexibility. You can make it as short or as long as you need. Even 5 minutes a day can create profound results, because what matters most is not how much time you spend, but how deeply you connect to the feeling of your chosen reality. Over time, this practice becomes second nature. You wake up and immediately tune into your preferred state, and before you know it, you are living on a completely different timeline, one that feels lighter, freer, and more aligned. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about remembering who you really are, beneath all the conditioning and fear. The version of you who is confident, creative, and abundant is not a fantasy. They are your truest self. And every time you do this ritual, you are choosing them. You are saying yes to your highest potential. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, Give yourself the gift of presence. Don't rush for your phone. Don't immediately replay yesterday's worries. Instead, ground, calibrate, set your intention, embody your new self, and release. Do this for 7 days, then 21, then longer. Watch how your outer world starts to rearrange to match your inner shift. You will look back weeks or months from now and hardly recognize the old version of you, the one who felt stuck, limited, disconnected. That version will feel like a distant memory because you will be living on a timeline where your dreams are no longer dreams, they are reality. Once you begin practicing this daily ritual, you will notice that life starts to respond to you differently. At first, the changes may be subtle: a lighter mood, a surprising solution to a problem that once felt impossible, a sudden moment of inspiration or creativity. These are all signs that you are successfully tuning into a new timeline. But with these changes also comes a new challenge: learning how to stay aligned with this higher version of yourself when the old reality still shows up. This is one of the most important parts of the process, because your old timeline may try to pull you back, not out of malice, but because it has momentum. Think of it like steering a ship. When you turn the wheel, the ship does not instantly face a new direction. It turns gradually, slowly redirecting its entire course. Your life works the same way. When you start shifting timelines, your outer world might still reflect the old patterns for a while. This can be frustrating if you don't understand what's happening. You might say, "I've been doing the ritual, why is my situation still the same?" But this is simply the residue of the old timeline clearing itself out. The key is to hold your new frequency, regardless of what appears in front of you. One powerful way to do this is through awareness of triggers. As you shift, old triggers may surface: fears, doubts, insecurities. Instead of seeing them as setbacks, view them as opportunities to deepen your alignment. For example, if you are aligning with abundance but an unexpected bill shows up, rather than falling into panic, pause and breathe. Remind yourself that this is the moment where you get to choose: do I respond as the old me would have, or as the new me is learning to? Each time you choose the new response, you strengthen the new timeline. Another tool for staying aligned is mindful language. The words you speak shape the reality you experience. Notice if you are still speaking as though the old reality is true. Saying things like "nothing ever works out for me," or "I'm just unlucky." Even if you say these words casually, they anchor you to the old frequency. Instead, practice speaking as though you are already living on the new timeline. Use phrases like, "I'm learning to trust the process," or "I'm grateful that abundance is flowing to me," or "things are shifting in my favor." These small linguistic shifts can create profound energetic shifts. Breathwork and journaling can also be incredibly supportive during this stage. Breathwork allows you to reset your nervous system when fear or anxiety tries to pull you back into the old timeline. Journaling helps you process emotions and track your progress, which is essential because change often happens gradually. When you write down what you are noticing, even small wins like a coincidence, a kind word from a stranger, or a feeling of peace, you train your brain to look for evidence that the shift is working. It's also important to create an environment that supports your alignment. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the spaces you live in all carry energy. If your environment constantly reinforces the old version of you, it will feel much harder to stay in alignment. This doesn't mean you have to cut everyone off or move to a different city overnight, but you can make small shifts. Spend more time with people who inspire you, read books, or listen to content that elevates you. Clear out clutter that carries old energy. Each change you make tells your subconscious that you are serious about this new reality. There may also be moments of what I like to call reality testing, situations that seem designed to tempt you back into the old patterns. For example, if you are working on shifting into a timeline of healthy relationships, you might suddenly hear from an ex who represents your old wounds. Or if you are aligning with financial abundance, you might be offered a job that pays well but drains your soul. These moments are not punishments, they are invitations to choose differently. When you say no to what no longer matches your new frequency, you collapse the old timeline even faster. Trust is essential in this phase. Trust that what is falling away is making space for something better. Trust that the universe is not ignoring you. It is rearranging everything to match your new vibration. Trust that even when it looks like nothing is happening, the shift is still in motion. This trust will keep you from sabotaging your progress by slipping back into fear or control. Finally, celebrate every small victory. Celebration is a high-frequency emotion that accelerates alignment. When you notice a sign, a synchronicity, a tiny breakthrough, take a moment to smile, say thank you, and feel the joy of it. This joy magnetizes more of the same. The more you celebrate, the more the universe delivers. The longer you live in alignment, the more natural it becomes. At first it may feel like effort, consciously catching your thoughts, pausing before reacting, choosing new words, but over time this becomes your default state. The old timeline loses its power because you stop feeding it with your energy. You become the kind of person who naturally expects good things, naturally feels worthy, naturally trusts life. And at that point, the shifts in your outer reality become undeniable. Relationships transform, opportunities open, challenges resolve more easily. Living in alignment is not about perfection. It's not about never feeling fear or doubt again. It's about learning to navigate those moments with presence and grace, returning to your chosen frequency over and over until it becomes who you are. This is where the magic really begins, when you realize that you are no longer chasing the new reality, you are living it. As we come to the end of this journey together, take a moment to notice how you feel right now compared to when we started. Perhaps there is a sense of lightness in your chest, a flicker of hope in your heart, a quiet knowing that life does not have to stay the same. That is the power of awareness. The moment you see that you have a choice, you are no longer a prisoner of the past, you are a creator of the future. The ritual we explored is not just another self-help technique to try for a week and forget. It is a doorway, a sacred practice that can completely transform your relationship with reality, if you allow it. Every time you ground yourself, calibrate your emotions, set your intention, embody your higher self, and release, you are literally stepping into a new version of your life. You are saying yes to the timeline where you are empowered, loved, abundant, and free. Remember, the key is consistency. This is not about dramatic overnight change, though sometimes miracles do happen quickly. It is about showing up for yourself, again and again, even on the days when it feels like nothing is happening. Trust that each day you do this, you are shifting the trajectory of your life. The results may be invisible at first, but soon they will become undeniable. So here is my invitation for you. Take this ritual, and commit to it for the next 21 days. Just 3 weeks of choosing your new timeline every morning. Write down what you notice, the synchronicities, the emotions, the opportunities, and watch how reality begins to reorganize around you. When fear shows up, remind yourself that it is just the old timeline dissolving. When doubt creeps in, remember that the version of you who already has everything you desire is real, and every day you practice, you are becoming them. As we close, I want you to ask yourself one simple but powerful question. Which limiting timeline am I ready to collapse today? Maybe it's the timeline of struggle. Maybe it's the timeline of loneliness. Maybe it's the timeline of playing small. Whatever it is, speak it out loud, declare it, and let it go. Then speak the new timeline into existence, the one where you thrive, where you are fully expressed, where you feel alive. This is your moment. This is your turning point. The fact that you are here, listening, means that your higher self guided you to this exact message, because you are ready. You are not just a passive observer of life, you are the author, the director, the creator, and your new story begins now. If this resonated with you, share your intention in the comments, so we can hold that vision together as a community. Like this video, subscribe for more guidance, and let's keep shifting timelines, one day, one choice, one breath at a time. Your future self is already smiling, waiting for you on the other side. Step forward, and claim the life that was always meant to be yours.